Hello Tech Genius, I am Ravi. Have you ever imagined a place where learning is as dynamic as the technology shaping your world? Then here's a deal. With iMatix, you can make sure the learning is exciting, impactful right from the beginning. You have interactive sessions with expert-led courses. In the world of tech, from data science to cloud computing, it's not just about a session, it's about doing, building, learning by solving real problems. So let's get started. Clear any questions till now on calc functions? If someone asks, try to get manage this address, you should be able to do that very easily right now. If someone asks you to get manage this address in the worker report you guys will be reading, you should be able to do that very easily because we have seen multiple ways of doing it. Our next concept that I wanted to cover today is integrations. I see most of the folks are not available today. Integration means that integrating data from one system to another system. It can be getting into Workday or going from Workday. Nothing but data integration between two systems. Data is going from Workday to external system is called as outbound integration. Data coming from external system to Workday called inbound integration. Going outside of Workday is outbound. Coming into Workday is inbound integration. We have two types of integrations. One is outbound and inbound integration. Whenever you see that you are working on outbound, which means that you are integrating data from Workday to external system. Similarly, when you are trying to get the data from external system to Workday, it is nothing but you are pulling the data from external system and loading into Workday. Inbound and outbound integrations. Outbound integration sends the data from Workday from external system. These are the two types of integration that we will mostly playing around in our current session and upcoming session. Sending data from Workday to external system is outbound. Sending data from external system to Workday is inbound. Now we have two types of integrations. We have two types of integrations. One is inbound integration and outbound integration. Inbound gets the data from external system and loads into Workday, and outbound takes the data that is sitting in the Workday to any external system. And we have multiple integration tools or integration designer. Seconds. We have multiple integration tools within Workday. One is EIB, the other one is Connector. The other one is Studio. Studio integration. We have EIB, Connectors and Studio are the three integration tools with which can actually integrate the data. These two are provided by Workday. This is something we will be creating based on the requirements. This is something little complex one when you compare with these two. And whenever these two EIB and connectors are not meeting the needs of the output, they will be actually using Studio. When these two are not meeting the needs, Studio is the one that we will be using to perform data integration. Be it anything inbound or outbound, you will be able to perform the Studio when your EIB and connector are not meeting the business needs. We will be using the two. And coming to EIB, since we will be creating most of the EBs, 95% of all your integrations in Workday are created by EIB. 95% of your integrations in Workday are managed by EIB. EIB is the mostly used integration tool in Workday. You will be always using EIB. When your integration requirements are not meeting with EIB, then you look for connectors. And still, if your connector is not meeting, the third option that we have is Studio. We will learn about connectors when we get into connectors. We will cover the basics of integration today. 19 to 90% of integrations we will be creating mostly in Workday. If you are working as a kind of integration developer or integration specialist, based on your requirements, you will be choosing how you want it to take these EIBs. As I said right, it is a mostly used integration tool in Workday, and the EIB also have inbound as well as outbound integration. Inbound, outbound. These are the two integration will be supported. What does inbound integration do? Loads the data into Workday and takes the data from Workday. Now specifically, if you wanted to talk about how data can be integrated through EIB outbound process, I think when we are creating the reports, we discuss multiple things. Which report can be used for integrations and which report needs to be used outside of integrations. Anyone can remember what we discussed in reporting. What outbound when we are using an EIB outbound or any integration. In order to have your integration to look for the report that you are creating, what option that you need to enable for that particular report. Let us say if I am creating employee report and that has to go to one of the vendors. In order to send what the report configuration that we need to make in order to have this report identified to this report. We discussed right. When we are actually creating reports, if we make this option, this is going to work for integration. Your integration is going to identify that report. Remember, we discussed this when we are creating reports. What is that report? What is that report? And what is the option that makes integration to identify that report? What report can be used as source for integrations? What report? What report? What report can be used for integrations? What report? What report is that? What report? I didn't actually hear that. What report that we need to use? We created multiple reports. Whenever we are creating multiple reports, we discuss that this is the option that you are going to use when you wanted to integrate the data, when you have your report as a kind of source. What report is that? It should be advanced. Don't get into confusion. We have only one report that actually integrates the data. Advanced report is the only report that can actually be used for data integrations. Now, in order to create an outbound integration, we need to have our source as custom report. For creating integrations, a report can be taken as a source. Whatever data that you have in a report you wanted to send to external system, it can actually take the source of the report, source of the integration, outbound integration as a report. Once we have the report ready, we will be picking up the data and we will be sending into external system. Now default output format of Workday is XML. The output Workday will be generating is an XML file format. The default output format of Workday integration will be XML. And most of the third-party system will not XML as a kind of output. They would be needing in a text format and CSV, any other format, but they don't want to use XML. If you have a requirement to integrate the data that returns the output in a CSV or Excel or text format, you will be actually doing multiple. You know transformation process here. But before that, you need to know Workday will be generating the output by default in XML form. Report would be the source. And since you will be getting XML as a kind of output format, in order to transform that XML into CSV or text, we will be using transformation. Transformation we will be using, and there are two types of transformation. Two types of transformations are there. One is custom transformation. The other one is custom report transformation. These are the transformations that we will be using to transform the data in a way that we wanted to have. If we wanted to get the data in Excel, we wanted to get the data in CSV or text, we will be using the transformation models in a way that we wanted to have. These are the steps that we are completely performing in outbound integrations. If you know these steps, the purpose of these steps, that would make sense for you to actually handle integrations. Outbound integrations, we will be taking report as a source. And define a transformation, which transformation that we wanted to go. If you wanted to format the data, which transformation that you would be taking, either a custom report transformation or a custom transformation, we will be taking that and transform the data in a way that you wanted to have. Now let us discuss something specific on transformations. Before we actually get into Workday, what is custom transformation? What is custom report transformation? I will just give a custom transformation. Custom transformation requires you to actually write XSLT. Your custom transformation will require for you to write XSLT. Whereas custom report transformation, if you are not understanding, just stop me. If you know the basics in integrations, you will be able to handle them. That's the reason why I'm actually covering this. If you are not aware of not following, just let me know. Custom transformation, nothing but which requires XLT to format or to optimize the data. Whereas custom report transformation, custom report transformation does not require XLT. These are the two differences that you will be. Whenever you are actually integrating the data, you need to choose whether it is custom transformation or custom report transformation. Custom transformation. Custom transformation will be requiring XSLT to integrate the data or to transform any of the data fields. Whereas custom report transformation, custom transformation does not require any kind of XSLTs. Custom transformation. Custom transformation does not require any transformation, which we'll be seeing how we can do that one. Till here, any questions? Integrations, Workday integrations. Now tell me the high-level steps of performing outbound integrations in Workday through EIB. We will be first selecting the report, and then based on our reporting file output file format, we will be selecting which transformation that should work for us, and send the data. Simple steps. Now in order to integrate the data from Workday, we have multiple tools that will be supporting integrations. Based on our requirement, we should be in a position to actually choose our integration type. Now, in order to integrate the data from Workday, whether it can be custom transformation or custom report transformation, we will be checking, but we will be creating now. We will be creating and get to know how that it works. Today I am trying to cover the basic background of integrations. I will just show the types of you have this right. First step is choosing create EIB. I am just trying to show you the options that are available. Oh, it is not coming. These are all the available options we have when you are creating any integrations. Not only outbound but also inbound integrations also. You will be seeing same kind of options. What does get data means? You are trying to get the data from the system. In get data phase, you will be selecting the source view. We have custom report and web service. We will be never using web service. We will be never using web service for outbound integrations because web service is nothing but Workday provided one. Workday provided one which does not have limited data. But custom report we are creating with the data that we wanted to have. We can add or remove few more things. But web service you cannot do that one. If you are selecting any web service, whatever data that it returns in whichever format it has, it will be populating in the same way. Why we are not choosing web service here? Because we will be not able to take the data that we wanted to have. We are using web service. Web service will not have an option to remove or create. Let us say, for example, worker is there. It will be getting all the worker information right from hire day to termination. Whatever the web service will be providing, we need to take that complete web service. This is not required actually. If you are choosing custom report, whatever data that you want to have, you would have created in custom report, and we will be using that when you make your web service report as a web service enabled. Then only you will be able to see this report here. If not, your report will not be populated here. Get data is nothing but getting the data from where you wanted to input the data from Workday and send to any external system. Now get data, nothing but you are trying to get the data from the system. In order to get the data, you are choosing custom report. In order to have your custom report here, your custom report must be web service enabled report. Your report should be web service enabled report. Then only you will be able to identify your report. We are working on the report, right? We are able to select these reports because these two are web service enabled report, and that is the reason why we were able to look this report. If these are not web service enabled report, you should not have seen these reports here. That is the reason why whenever you are creating a report, you need to ensure that if you want it to actually integrate the data, your report should be web service enabled reports. Then only you will be able to integrate the data from one system to another system with the source as custom report. That is what I was trying to explain. Get data, you will be choosing report, and then you will be choosing in whichever way which transformation will work, whether it is custom report or custom transformation. You will be choosing to integrate the data. I was referring right. EIB have an option to use without transmission and with transmission, but connectors does not have. If you wanted to transform the data, you need to definitely write an accessibility. Without that, you will not able to transform the data. And Studio, probably this we might not be covering because it is the custom development tool, third-party tool, which will not be covering integration. These two will be covering. Most of the scenarios, I think background will be the same. Connectors, if you are creating, you need to have the source. And EIB, when you are creating, you have an option to select the source. As I said, 80% to 9% of integrations in Workday are performed by EIB. The rest of the cases can be performed through connectors and Studio. Now, what should be the when you are performing EIB outbound integration? What should be the source of the report? When you are building EIB outbound integration, what should be your source? When you are building EIB, what should be the source of your EIB? From where your EIB will be collecting the data. When you want to integrate the data through EIB, what options you will be choosing? What options that you will be choosing when you are trying to integrate the data through EIB? You must have a source, right? You must have a source of the data. You will be choosing whichever report that you wanted to integrate. You will be making that report as a web service enabled report, and you will be using that report to integrate the data sitting in report. When you are building integrations specifically for outbound, your report would be the source of the integration. And once you have your report as a source, you will be choosing the translation, whether it has to be a custom or custom report. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.